Hey y'all, welcome to episode 4.5 of my Airstream renovation. In this episode, we are finishing up the window restoration, starting from when the tint was placed all the way until the final product. This is the best a window has turned out in my experience, and I can't wait for y'all to see the end product. So let's jump right into it. To clean the frames, I first start by taking off this outer gasket. So I have two different tools that I use. They're both putty knives. This is my Husky one, it's the thicker one. This is my Anvil one, it's the smaller one, the thinner. And it also has this sharp tip at the edge that is very helpful. So what I do with the Anvil one is I go around the edge and kind of loosen that up. Sometimes it doesn't want to be because they're very old. So I loosen up the edge. See, this is why I bang on my hands. Maybe I'll do this side. So loosen this up. Kind of gets stuck along the holes for the rivets. Power. It's a cleaner and degreaser. So I use this on my letters and I'm using this now on my frames. So what I do is I just spray the outside. And you're not going to get all this black off, but that's okay. And then spray the inside. There you have it. What I do is I take my fun brush from earlier. Alright, so I am just using this blade, this knife, to cut the edges. So what I do is I just cut in, kind of with a sawing motion. And then be sure to pull this taut, but not too taut, because it'll still slip around. So you just go along the edge and try to go as smooth as a motion as you can. Okay, so it's a new day, and today we are putting the window spacers between the dual panes and the silicone sealant, and then putting the two panes together. So what you're gonna need for it is the silicone sealant and a caulk gun. You're going to need your glass cleaner and your roll of shop towels. You will also need your scissors and then the dual pane window spacer from Vintage Trailer Gaskets. And this is a 3/16 width and it's 9 feet. So what you're gonna go do first is you're going to clean your window. With your dual pane window spacer. I'm gonna open them up. So this is what the spacer looks like. You are going to want to make a jig that is 3/16 because you're gonna put it 3/16 on the inside. So your aluminum looking, foil looking strip goes on the outside. And I like to start at the top. Next, you're going to take your second piece of glass, your double pane, and place it on top of the dual pane spacer. Make sure you line it up carefully and place it on. Next, you're going to take your silicone sealant and place it in that 3/16 space between the two windows to completely seal up that space and make it watertight. After letting that sealant dry, I came back another day and decided to continue working on this window. So I'm taking the outer gasket, which is the dual pane gasket from Vintage Trailer Supply, and I'm placing it around the edge of the window. Next, I'm taking the frame and placing it on the window. So you want to make sure that the outside of the frame is matching the outside of the window, and the top and the bottom are in the correct position. So once you get close to putting the frame together, you want to make sure that the pin on the top and the bottom are lined up with the opposite side of the frame. And you can use your rubber mallet to start hitting it in. Once both sides of the frames are almost completely together, you're going to want to take a big clamp and slowly work them together while still making sure that your gasket is evenly spaced on the outside and in the correct position. Once you see those holes in the middle of the bars that hold the frames together, you know what I'm talking about if you've ever seen these, you're going to want to rivet them in place. So first I check the size of the rivet and make sure that it will fit in the hole, and then I use a little bit of this Gorilla Glue adhesive. So for this step, I decided to use pop rivets instead of buck rivets. On these pop rivets though, I did put the Gorilla Glue adhesive on them and then place them in the hole, and then use my rivet gun to secure them in place. I repeated these same steps on the other side. With the same Gorilla Glue adhesive, I sealed up the crack between the two frames on each side. I placed the bracket back on the top using the same method with the Gorilla Glue and the pop rivets. Next, I took the outer gasket and wrapped it around the edge. Next, I took this 3M black gasket adhesive and sealed the two ends of the outer gasket together. And this is the final product.